Hi YouTubers, I wanted to make a special video for the flu season. This could actually be the first of many. I have a lot of assorted opinions on the flu, but this is one that I see a lot and I don't see the explanation um, as being adequate. And I think that this is something that will really divide the crunchy and the medical communities when they don't understand what's going on. So I wanted to do a quick video on this. And that is when you get the flu shot and you feel like the flu. What is going on and does that actually happen? So this is where, in my experience, automatically the medical world and people who strongly resonate with that world will automatically say, no, that's preposterous, that can't happen. You don't get the flu from the flu shot, don't be ridiculous. And I think this is in part because of the explanation they've been served before, that they just want to say no. And I'm here to say, yes, that does happen fairly frequently, particularly with the flu shot, but other vaccines can do it too. Um, so you can feel like you have the flu from the flu shot, but the question is, and the thing that divides the two communities is, do you actually get the flu from the flu shot? And the answer is no. To the best of my knowledge and from what I've read on the topic, no, you don't. You don't get the actual infection, and that's one of the reasons why it seems to go away a lot quicker. Like the flu can last a really long time, potentially a week or two, but the flu-like symptoms after the vaccine usually only last a couple of days in my experience. But instead, now we get to step back and we say, okay, you feel like you have the flu after the vaccine when this happens, but you don't actually have the flu. So then what's going on and what's the explanation? And the short answer is inflammation. A lot of inflammation. The more complicated explanation is vaccines, the way they work is you inject something into your body in hopes that your immune system will see that thing and say, hey, that looks like an infection that I don't want to get. I'm going to mount a response and I'm going to act on it. And then the downstream effect is that you'll have some memory or some antibodies against that thing in the future. But we're leaving out the middle part, and that's the key, is that when the immune system mounts an attack against an infection or against something like a toxin, it's doing so by creating a boatload of inflammation. And that's where you feel like you have the flu, but you don't actually have the flu. So your immune system mounts an attack, and just like if your immune system sees the actual flu virus and you have the infection, your immune system is going to churn out cytokines, which are these inflammatory messengers that immune cells use to communicate. So your immune system is going to churn out things like TNF, the interleukin family, 1 and 6 primarily. You've got your interferon family, all of these cytokine messengers saying, hey, we need to mount a response. Holy crap, this is a big deal. Let's get on this. Let's kill the thing. You're going to get that whether you have the actual infection, like that happens with the actual flu, and that's why you feel like garbage and fatigued and headachy and all the symptoms that you would normally get, achy, that you would get with the flu. So that's going to happen when you have the infection. The only difference is that it's for a reason, and you're actually fighting the microbe, so those things are a good thing. But when you get the flu shot, I mean, that's kind of what the flu shot's trying to do. You could almost see that reaction as a good thing because, hey, we are getting the immune response that we were trying to get, so that's a good thing. The downside is it makes you feel like garbage, and some people, frankly, can't tolerate that inflammation. And that's where the topic of should you get the flu shot becomes a very individual decision. Um, if you have an autoimmune disease, if you have something inflammatory, if you have gout, anything like that, then I would exercise a whole lot of caution when it comes to vaccines in general because of this. Because in immunizations, you get that barrage of inflammation, and your tolerance for inflammation is going to be different from everybody else on the planet. So, anyway, the long and short of it is you get these symptoms not because you have the actual infection, but because you have an inflammatory soup of chemical messengers and cytokines that mimic the flu. So they produce the same symptoms. And it makes you feel like you have the flu, but in actuality, as far as I can tell, you don't have the actual infection of the flu. And again, how well your body can tolerate and withstand that inflammatory barrage from something as simple as a vaccine, that's an individual question. And I'll leave that to another video, but hopefully this was helpful.